Here are problems 4 and 5 on page 191. Number 4 says, what is the value of the function when x is negative 3? So essentially we are finding a point whose x-coordinate is negative 3. So I will rewrite my function and substitute negative 3 wherever I see an x. And I have negative 3 squared, that's positive 9, then plus 6 plus 7. So that equals 15 plus 7, or 22. So when x is negative 3, y is positive 22. And if you're following in the textbook, that's option A. For number 5, it says to evaluate the function when x is negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So for this one, because there are so many points here, I'm just going to use a table of values. In number 4, we just came up with 1 point, but in this one, we're going to come up with 5 points. Now, I want you to be very, very careful right here. I'm going to show you how to deal with that situation, and it's very important that you watch that negative sign. So here we go with f of x. So f of negative 2 is going to be negative 2 squared minus negative 2 plus 2. Now let's stop just a minute and make sure that we understand what's happening here. This negative sign is that one. This negative sign is coming from x equals negative 2. You need them both. Okay? Don't lose this one or you will have a problem. Okay, here we go. So we're going to evaluate. We have negative 2 squared is positive 4 plus 2 plus 2. So we have negative 4 plus 4, right, there's 4, equals 0. So this is actually the x-intercept. All right, then we have f of negative 1. So we will say negative 1 squared minus negative 1 plus 2. Negative 1 squared is 1, and then we have a negative there, plus 1 plus 2. So this will be positive 2 right there. Then I have f of 0. That's going to be negative 0 squared minus 0 plus 2. So negative 0 minus 0 plus 2 will end up being 2. That's interesting. That's the y-intercept. Then f of 1 is negative 1 squared minus 1 plus 2. So we end up with negative 1 minus 1 plus 2 is 0. You say, well, we have another x-intercept. So this graph is going to be very interesting. And then f of 2 is negative 2 squared minus 2 plus 2. So we have negative 4 minus 2 plus 2 is negative 4. So here we have a table of values with some points. And we are also supposed to graph the corresponding points. So I do need a coordinate plane, and I need the plane because this one has some positive and negative numbers. We can't just use the first quadrant. All right, the first point is at negative 2, 0, which is going to be on the x-axis right there. Then negative 1, 2, 0, 2, 1, 0, and then 2, negative 4. So this is the shape that we have. I wish so much they had given us that other point that's missing. But here we go. Let me see if I can get this to graph the way we want it to. No, I may just have to freehand this one. So it won't be a pretty graph, but it will show you what we're looking at. So this is a parabola. I knew it would be a parabola. And I knew it would open to the bottom. In other words, I could put my hand up under there if this were a puppet, that it opens to the bottom. So it's coming down. And I knew that because in my function, my term for x squared was negative. So if you have a second degree function, that's what this is called. That's where the 2 fits. It is a parabola, and if it's negative, it will open down. If the x were positive, the parabola would open this way. It would make a U shape. But this is a negative parabola. Okay, I think that's all for those two, and I think I'll stop the video before we graph the piecewise function.